I am Cynthia Myers-Morrison, and I welcome you to the Food Addiction Institute. We are so pleased to have Frida and Charlotte here today, and I'll introduce you to them, and then they'll continue with the introduction for a bit. They have just launched a website, and I want them to talk about that in English. And Frida is a holistic raise your hand, please. Frida. There we go. Yes. Frida is a holistic addiction medicine therapist and a behavioral scientist and nutritional advisor. She's a sober addict, and she has a big heart to help others relate and quit the drug. Charlotte is an alcohol and drug therapist and health coach and nutritional advisor, and she's passionate about dietary and behavioral effects on mind and body. And together they are the core of Live Zuckerfree, which means live sugar-free. And I welcome them to our Food Addiction Institute YouTube. Thank you. It's all yours.
Oh, thank you very much. Let's see. We'll try to share the screen here, but maybe we should simply introduce ourselves a little bit more before we do that.
Yeah.
We are working out of Sweden and have been working with sugar addiction, processed food addiction since 2016. And we've been running a practice in a treatment place in Linköping in Sweden, primarily helping Swedes, but we have also worked with clients in other parts of the world on an individual basis, you could say. And during this Corona year, we've had time to really refocus and do some of the things that we've only been dreaming about for years, which means that we wrote a book in Swedish, a self-help book, you could say, about how to achieve a sugar-free life and be free of the drug. Yeah. And as a part of that, we also created a workbook, which we have realized afterwards is actually the really big thing here, because that allows people to work on their own and to work solution focused. Once you realize that you have an addiction, that you have a loss of control around your food, then you need to figure out, okay, how do I work with that? How do I create a good life anyway? And that's what this workbook is all about.
And of course, a lot of people need more help, but this is a good start.
So,
and we have that in English.
We have it in English
for the moment.
Yes. We started out in Swedish, but very soon we made it in English as well. So that is available on our website. And this is one of the things that we're going to talk about in the session here with Cynthia. And I'll just share our screen. And make this like this. Great. To the left on the screen, you see the front page of this workbook.
Yeah.
And that was something that came to life as we discovered that we were missing good basic material when working with our clients' recovery.
Yeah, we had them, but we didn't have them in a book.
Yeah, it wasn't structured. So we did this structuring, which became this workbook. As it says here, regain your power to reclaim your life. And that is really the core of this, to really figure out a way for you personally to find your way into freedom.
Yeah, and hopefully we will have a book with this name as well. But we can't translate the book we did. We have to write a new one.
Yeah, because the book we wrote was very Swedish, you could say, and that needs to be internationalized. But the workbook can work in any language. You see here our website, levasockerfri.se/en for English /home for home. And this is our mail address. And if you dial this number, you will get to us. So what we do is we work with processed food addiction, and we work with treatment. Our treatment process is long-term, and we do both primary treatment as well as relapse methods. We do this, as you probably understand, both in English, Swedish, and since I am an old Dane, we can also do it in Danish.
You can do it in Danish, I can't.
We work online, and we also work on location, both in Sweden and when it's not Corona, we also work from Spain. The base, well, you could say the core of what we do is you can see that as a chronic disease maintenance program, which is both group-based and individual therapy. And this workbook that is available to basically anybody who can speak and write in English and understand in English. That is something for you to download and start working with on your own to figure out your solutions to a free life. So you can work your own process. You can do this entirely on your own, but we recommend that you are supported either by a local addiction therapist or by us.
A lot of people download the workbook and start working themselves, but realize that it is not very easy. So then they call us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. The workbook. The first part of this this talk, we will actually make this in 3 parts. One is to introduce the workbook in itself and tell you how to work with it. And part 2, we will talk about one particular exercise that you could actually do from the workbook, and we'll walk you through it and use Frida as an example.
Yeah.
And then the third part is about how to identify and develop your personal toolbox for recovery, which is basically the red line through the workbook. But the workbook is 14 chapters, 13 individual contents, different parts, different solution areas, and the 14th is basically making a summary and a recap so that you can see what has happened from start till end. And you work with that and get inspired. And the way you work with it is that the first part is you look at your consequences, your own personal food history. Well, what have I been doing, and what have the consequences been? How well am I prepared for change?
Yeah, and the chapter 2 we talk about sugar addiction and what it has done to you. And if you have family who is addicted, often we often see that the family has an addiction with different kind of drugs.
Yeah, but addiction runs in the family.
Yeah,
basically.
exactly. Yeah.
You can also do Uncope, for example, and do some other mapping to figure out, well, what does your addiction look like, and how well is it founded in you and your surroundings. Number 3, our chapter 3 is once you've established your consequences, established the foundation on your preparedness to change, then we're asking the big questions like, why should you change? If you're prepared to change, why is that? And what are your main goals? What are your doubts? Which things are you ambivalent about that may cause trouble later on? So you can start by mapping that. You will also here start by working with an action plan. that will also go as a red line through the entire workbook, that you fill this in when you find your different solutions to different challenges in your life. In this chapter, we also talk about activities, the recovery part of your journey, you could say. And we talk about something we call dopamine activity list, and we talk about serotonin activity list. Things that makes you feel good and will actually increase your resilience in recovery.
A lot of people doesn't know that.
No.
They have no idea what makes them happy or calm. So it's a very good exercise to do.
The next part is one of the very few actually talking about food. What and why should I eat?
The problem is not the food.
Well, yes, the basic. Your brain is kidnapped by food, but
exactly. Well, the solution is not the food. It's just you have to eat the food that your brain and your body is feeling good about. But when that is done, you have your life to.
You have a life to live.
Yes, and to work with.
But here you can do some mapping on what kind of food that is actually what we call in your safe corner. Meaning which food should you choose to eat, at least for the first 3 months, to be trigger-free and feel comfortable and safe in the choices that you make without having to negotiate every minute of the day.
In the next chapter, we talk about triggers because we have different triggers. Some people, most sugar addicted people can't eat fruit, for example. It's a trigger. If you eat a banana, you eat chocolate the day after. And sometimes it's hard to know what is a trigger. So we talk about this, and they will be able to map the triggers. And it could be, it mustn't be food, it could be feelings. And a lot of people eat when they're sad or when they're bored. So once you know what is a trigger, you can also find a plan for what to do when you know that you will be bored or sad.
Mm-hmm. And the next part is planning, because without a plan, you very easily fail. So there is the saying, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And that is a big truth here. So this chapter is actually the shortest chapter, because this is something that you'll work with on a regular basis in your daily life. So this is more of a lazy dog, you could say. Which parts do you need to include when you make your planning? So it's more practical things like, should I write a grocery list? Should I plan for when I'm eating out? Should I plan for how many should we would be for dinner in the evening? Should I plan for situations that I can't plan for? Be prepared for the unprepared. That is one of the really big things here, to be able to safeguard yourself when you're losing control.
And then we talk about relapse management, because sometimes these triggers will be too much and you eat something that you don't want to eat. And then it's important to see what it was, because if you know that I'm going to my grandmother and she will always try to get me to eat a lot of candy or whatever, then it's good to know that, okay, I have to talk to her, or I have to bring something else, or whatever is your plan for it. But this chapter is so that you can, if you have had a relapse, you can think it through. What happened and what can I do next time?
This is really a learning chapter. And very important because, processed food addiction, sugar addiction is really one of the most relapse friendly, you could say, addictions, because you've got your drugs everywhere and they're available 24/7. So it's very easy to fall.
And you have to eat. And some people have triggers in ordinary food as well.
So you need to be aware of that.
Yeah.
The next chapter is an enemy of the addicted mind, and that is really stress. So in this part of the book, you work with mapping your own stress factors and work with figuring out the solutions to that to mitigate and ensure that the stress will not make you go on an autopilot where you really need to be focused and make rational decisions.
And then we talk about the biochemical repair.
And the only thing that we have in that chapter is basically that you do a small depression screening.
Yes, that's true. In the book, it's a lot of other things about vitamins and so on, but it's just one page here. It's a depression screening, and it's very interesting to do that. If you do that before you do a food change, and then you do it after like 3 months, you can see a big change, often a big change.
And you're actually able to monitor your own progress on how you feel, and a really good measurement for how you feel is really to look at this depression scale where you are.
Yeah, and a lot of clients our clients has depressions when they come to us.
And after 3 months, it's amazing what you see.
Yeah,
huge differences. Really, one of the big joys in life, I would say.
Yeah,
to get this confirmation. Chapter 10 is more of a mapping of your consequences in your digestive system. The life you've been leading so far without doing any change, it has had an impact on your digestive system, which is also something that actually can impact how you feel and how your brain works. Because the digestive system with the microbiome and how we actually work emotionally and rationally, it is very well connected. And in this chapter, you do a mapping of your consequences in your digestive system and how to actually work with that and find your solutions. What do you need to do to actually bring this back into order? And some of these chapters you can very well do on your own, and others you would need a nutritional advisor or an addiction therapist to guide you and help you more in detail. And I would say here is one of the chapters where you could really need external support.
And one of the problems in this system could be, this is called Candida. Candida. Candida is
Fungus.
It's a fungus. Yeah, it's not a mushroom.
No, not a mushroom.
It's a fungus in this system that is supposed to be there. But if we have been eating a lot of sugar, it could be too much of this fungus, and that makes a lot of strange things in the body, as depression, for one example. So here in this workbook, you can find out how much Candida you have in your system.
or at least get an idea what the system looks like when it comes to Candida, and figure out if you have to do anything about it or not.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then, of course, why are you eating? A lot of us people eat on feelings and emotions. So this is about understanding your emotions, why you eat. So it's also mapping.
Yeah.
To map when you're eating, and it could be a lot of things, and even we talk about where you put your mind. Do you put your mind on yourself, or do you care a lot of what other people do, or do you care a lot of what happened in the world? Because when you put too much thoughts in what's happening in the world, of course we want to care, but we can't do anything about it, and that makes a lot of people. It's a reason to eat.
You get a lot of frustration.
Yeah.
Since you are not capable of, this is not within your control.
Exactly. And then we eat instead, because we can't control that.
That we can control.
Yeah.
And then we also, you can also dig a little bit into shame, for example, and codependence as well.
Also very important.
And the last of the 13 main chapters is basically summarizing and putting everything together to figure out, okay, how all these different things, this action plan that I have made, how do I actually convert that into new habits? So there you have some tools for this conversion, and in chapter 14 then you do a summary of everything and do some of the questionnaires that has been in some of the other chapters. You do them again, and then you can actually see the difference before and after, and you update your action plan to how you really want to work from here on. So this is basically this workbook and how to work with it. What are the solution areas that you can dig into in this? So it's basically a lot of questions that you put to yourself, and then you have to figure out your answers. And when you have your answers, you also have your solutions.
Yeah, and it's free.
And it's for free. So this workbook is really about regaining your power to reclaim your life.
And you can find it on our website, and it's free to download. So try it.
And you can contact us at info@levasockerfri.se or call us at the number that you see here as well if you find that you need to talk to us. This was the first part of the discussion or talk that we have here, and the other two parts is actually digging into the workbook. So part 2 is about one of the tools that are available in the book that we will work through, and use Frida as an example to see how that can actually be used. And part 3 is looking more at how the workbook can help you finding your solution toolbox for a life in long-term recovery.
Thank you so much. What a lovely presentation of the workbook, and what a gift to the world it is, your work and your presence. Thank you.